everyone. I'm Larry Ridley. Welcome to the NFL on EA Sports. We're across the pond in England this week, and two teams are hoping to show off for an international audience. It's the Colts going up against the Jaguars. With that, it's our commentators in the booth as we turn it over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Larry, thank you very much. We are pleased, as always, to be bringing you coverage of the National Football League presented by EA Sports. Coming up, another edition of the NFL International Series, and it should be a good one, between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. To him right up the gut. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down. To throw on second down is Locke. Philip Dorsett holds it in. Evades the tackler, and now some space. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Philip Dorsett, 77 yards. And the Colts are going to take a first-quarter lead. And nothing too crazy there. A quick slant, and then he just had a seam. He found a seam.
And when you hit it on the run like that, and I mean the pass right to the receiver who's already in motion and moving, sometimes he just takes it and runs away from everyone else.
And he ran it into the end zone. And the defense, they've got to adjust there quickly. That's tough on them.
That's really tough because everything was executed well. Ball was out of his hands quickly, into the hands of the receiver, and then he was gone.
Now after the touchdown, here's Pat McAfee to kick. And there's a flag on the play. And oh, he kicked it out of bounds. That's a big penalty.
And this is where the rest of the team turns and stares at the kicker and says, you have one job, execute it.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be second and 6. Now look at the starting unit, and here's to you, Mr. Robinson.
Oh, I like that one. Allen Robinson, I love coming out of Penn State. Everyone kept telling me he's not fast enough, and I kept pointing to the film and saying yes, but he catches everything. He's definitely a threat.
On second down, Ivory. And this time not as successful as he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Call it a gain of a yard, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 5. And now a look at the defense for the Colts.
Vontae Davis is one of the strongest cornerbacks in the league. Equally adept at playing the run and the pass.
So 3rd and medium here, 3rd and 5. From the gun on 3rd down, Bortles underneath to Ivory. Chris Ivory loses the football, and the Colts pick it up. And now Indianapolis set to take the field. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on offense, they rolled downfield, got into a good rhythm. You can see a little more bounce in and out of the huddle. You can see the sideline really get into the game. So defensively, you're thinking to yourself, how do we take that away from them? How do we get the advantage back? Let's see what they come up with. I think pressure is always the first way to go.
You love pressure.
I love it.
Let's see if they dial it up this drive. Dante Fowler in on the stop. Here's the offense, and if you're the defense, Charles, you really have to focus on that guy that's highlighted on the screen.
You're talking about pure speed. T.Y. Hilton can get down the middle of the field and really stretch a defense.
Hilton, the lone receiver right. Possible run anticipation here as the D-line sandwiches together. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. Philip Dorsett, the intended receiver. And that's going to lead to a third down. And time to take a look at the Jaguar defense.
Dante Fowler missed his rookie season due to injury. So good to have him back on the field. A terrific combination of speed and strength.
Throwing on third down, Luck. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. Charles, that's an important third down stop. You don't want to spot him 2 touchdowns here early.
You're trying to slow momentum down. You've already given up the score. They're coming right back at you. You're exactly right. Being able to hold them there and force a decision.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. And here now the 8th-year man, Pat McAfee, to kick it away. Back deep, Rashad Green. And not what he was hoping for there, as this will hit in the end zone for a touchback. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And a fumble last time. Ball security. Talk about it all the time in the National Football League. They've got to be better at it on this drive.
Don't you think that when every team gets together for the first time, I don't care if it's OTAs, mini camps, first day of camp in the regular season, ball security comes up about, what, the second sentence of the coach's address?
And those are so many drills focus on that.
All the time, and they do drills to make it even tougher to simulate game situations. Doesn't always work out, though.
Clock rolling as we hit the midway point of this first quarter. They'll come out in the pistol. On first down, this is Ivory. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down.
Okay, I don't want to bring money into it, but I'm going to. You know what your best contract negotiations are?
Good years.
Production. Chris Ivory, his first 1,000-yard season in New York, parlayed it into a nice deal with Jacksonville, and they expect the same results.
Yeah, nice 5-year deal indeed. 5 wides in the game, 4 of them to the right side. Throwing now is Bortles. Oh, look at Thomas wide open. And he'll be taken down, but not before getting this inside the 30. These coaches told us they wanted to take the top off this defense. They wanted to be able to stretch them downfield. They showed it pretty well there.
And they knew that if they were able to do that, it would open up everything else. But how did they truly get it done? Practice in the previous week, making sure they had a plan, fine-tuned before they put it into effect in the game.
So after that big gain, let's see what else the offense has up its sleeve. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
And that's exactly what you want on a first down run. Pick up 5 yards, bring up 2nd and 5. The defensive line, though, they've got to figure out a way to out-leverage the guys up front because the offensive line is winning at the point of attack.
They stay on the ground. Ivory again. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks. That's a prime example of how tough Chris Ivory can be to bring down.
He's so good that I think that he would last very well in a boxing gym. You know, because he's going to wear you down with those types of runs all game long. And if they can't start getting him on the ground quicker and more efficiently, they've got a long game in front of them.
And now the offense operates in the red zone. Into the red zone, it's Bortles. Now he's hit, and Bortles fumbled. It's loose.
Plays like this when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved.
And another timeout taken by the Colts. And that's their second charge timeout here in this first quarter. They're down to 1 remaining. So they almost turn it over there. Scary moment. 2nd down here. Now they'll throw it. Bortles. And he's going to be taken down. Back around the 35-yard line. Trent Cole in there to bring him down for a loss of 7.
Well, this is what happens when you get behind the chains, as people like to say. When you have obvious passing situations, hard to vary it up and fool a defense.
And you hate those situations if you're an O-lineman, right?
Oh, without a doubt, because you just know they're coming, and you never know exactly how. They can be exotic in their blitzes, or their athletic ability just takes over.
Bortles. And he can't quite intercept it. Zone coverage, free safety was there. Couldn't come up with it, and now it's 4th down.
Tremendous coverage there. Just did not catch the football and complete the interception. But what do they say all the time? If he had really good hands, he'd be playing offense.
So now the 5-year man, Brad Nortman, to kick it away. That'll be out of bounds, and how good was that? They'll say the 3-yard line. That's where they spot it. And the Colts offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked so well.
Go to something else.
And maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
They'll give it to him right up the gut. He'll try to get forward, but he's going to be stopped in his tracks at about the 3. Bjorn Werner, former first-round pick, is in on the stop.
Really shouldn't be a surprise. It's going to be hard to move people in this situation. You know they're going to bring the pressure defensively. Because I remember playing in these spots, and my coaches always said, don't be afraid to try and create a safety, too. They're going to bring pressure.
Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case the feet, doing a little toe tap to stay in bounds and complete the catch.
And a great job by our crew on the camera shot. Love when you see the grass or on the field turf, those rubber pellets flying up. Great catch. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's able to plow forward up to about the 29, just shy of the 30. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
Back with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. The Colts in possession of the football to begin quarter number 2. They're looking at a second and short yardage to start things out. Second down, they need less than a yard to pick up the first. Gonna give this time to the tailback. And this time he's not going anywhere. They'll get him down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a third down.
So after that stop, you know the third down is not a gimme if you're on the offensive team. So what are you going to do? Run it again? Or maybe you go play action and try and throw the ball and pick up the necessary yardage.
They'll give it to him right up the gut. And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. They lost 2, and it brings up 4.
And partner, in a lot of short yardage situations, you'll see the linebackers step up into the gaps, what we call mugging the line of scrimmage, to make sure they take away all spaces, all creases. That one worked really well for them.
Now only needed a yard, instead went backwards. Fielded just inside the 20. 21 yards. Well done on the return. And the Jaguars go on offense, first down and 10. Out comes the Jacksonville offense as they get set to take over here. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
The drive begins with a run by Ivory. And he's going to bowl his way forward to the 48. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
You know what really fires up offensive linemen? When the guy that is carrying the ball behind them can create his own space and break a tackle along the way.
And after the play on the ground, that brings up second down here. Another pistol look here. Again, we'll see the pistol here. He'll look to throw. To the right side here, the tight end Thomas. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains.
I'm wondering if the same thing went through your mind as mine. When I see a big man like that make a catch, all I keep thinking to myself is, big man with football. Look out, everyone. He may not juke you a whole lot, right? He may not run past you because of his size. You're talking about a guy weighing in the 270 range. But, boy, once he gets his mitts on the ball, he's going to be tough to bring down.
Now Bortles, and that is incomplete. He was trying to hit Rashad Green, and it'll be 2nd and 10. So the incomplete pass brings up second down. Back to the air on second down. It's Bortles. And the catch made here by Marquise Lee. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
Everything about that play was beautiful. A great corner route where the receiver worked the defensive back inside and then broke back to the outside to the corner. But how about the throw by the quarterback? Anticipation on the break from inside to outside. He threw the football. As the receiver turned around, the ball greeted him.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And not much running room. Down to the 32. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down.
Not a run that you're going to write home about, but still a good first down run. That's what an offense calls staying on schedule. 3 to 4 yards on first down, you're set up very well for the rest of the drive.
Second down following the run.
There we go now. 3:39.
Again they run. Again it's Ivory. And he's brought down. 12 yards there as they move the chains. And a nice run for the former undrafted free agent back in 2010, Chris Ivory.
And I think that's why we see the greatness in him. It was there, Just because he wasn't drafted didn't mean he wasn't a good player. But I think he uses that as fuel. Each and every run, an aggressive, strong run, catches out of the backfield. He's turned himself into a complete player.
From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29.
And plays like that really hurt play calling. They had a really nice gain on the previous play, but gave about half the yardage back on the sack. Excellent pressure up front. Nowhere to go with the football. Down he goes.
Five wides in the game, 4 of them to the right side. Now Bortles. Thomas has got it, complete. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain.
I know exactly what's going to be said about that play from the defensive perspective.
What's that?
That's why I tell all you guys we need more than one tackler to the ball. He broke the first tackle. Luckily enough, there were more people there to get him down.
Throwing his Bortles on 3rd down. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And some room to work. And I think he's going to go. They're not going to get him. 20. And it's a terrific return here as he's going to have him set up with a 1st and goal right at about the 6-yard line. Now the Colts offense gets ready to head back on the field. They've got the lead. Last time had to punt it, though. What's the key to this drive?
I think it's leverage. The big guys up front. You know the motivational speech on the sideline is, guys, give us an opportunity. Protect the passer, create space for our runners, and let's go ahead and get these guys. Low man wins. Let's go do it on this drive.
We'll watch that leverage on this drive. Red zone opportunity. So now it's 1st and goal. Now they'll run it on the toss. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 9. A minute 58 to go in this first half of play. Back to the booth right after this. And the D-line pinching together must be expecting the run. To throw on 2nd down is Luck. Under pressure, and down he goes. Luck is sacked. The Jags' new signee from Denver, Malik Jackson, coming up the middle, gets him there for a loss of about 9. After the sack, they come up on 3rd and goal from the 18. One receiver left is Hilton. 3rd and long, it's Luck. Going for Hilton, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tashawn Gibson. Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set to go again. Looked like they had something going last drive. Then the interception happened. Will they recover?
The memory they need to keep with them is that they did have something going. They were moving the ball on offense, had a nice sequence going. Don't worry about the other part. You can't get that back. Let's go back to what you were doing well before.
I thought you were going to say they need to have no memory, but remember the good part, forget the bad.
I like that even better.
Marquise Lee, the intended target, and that'll make it 2nd and 10.
Well, partner, I guess that answers the question about whether they're going to sit on it or not.
It does. Now we'll see if they try that again.
Yeah, I think what we find on plays like that, when you take that shot, if you're unsuccessful, then you go way more conservative to finish the half, you know? I think that's the way they'll go.
Bortles now to throw. They set up the screen to Ivory. And he's brought down. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs.
The screen was executed and completed, but where's the worry on the play? How many times is a quarterback going to get hit? Because offensive linemen have to do an acting job of making sure it looks like they're whiffing on blocks. But you got to slow them down a little bit, because if you don't, that's a lot of big guys coming at your quarterback in a big, fast way. And boy, he can get hurt.
Bortles now on 1st down. And he'll toss this one incomplete. Seeing no options, he throws it away.
I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. No one got it. Second down now after the incompletion. Back to the air on second down. It's Bortles. On the right side, caught by Green. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. 5 wides in the game, 4 of them to the right side. Bortles going to throw. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out, incomplete.
Normally, he's pretty reliable. Usually catches what's thrown to him. On that play, he simply dropped it.
So they're still at the original line of scrimmage here. Second down and 10. They come out 5 wide. 3 of them to the right side. Bortles again here on second and 10. And the hook up here to Allen Robinson. And he's brought down. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
Bortles now on first down. He's got time in the pocket, and he whips that one incomplete there. So second and 10 here. They send Thomas out to the right by himself. Bortles will try again. Now he's hit, and Bortles fumbled. It's loose. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. Ninth play of the drive coming up, and certainly not an easy one on third and long. On third and long, it's Bortles. And that will be incomplete with a clock down now to 13 seconds.
It's always tough for the guys throwing the football when they think they've got a completion and the ball's almost there, and then someone sneaks a hand or two in and bats it away.
Looks like the offense is going to take another shot here. They're going on 4th and 13. 5 wides in the game. 4 of them to the right side. Throwing now is Bortles. That'll be incomplete with 9 seconds now showing on the clock. Here comes the Colts offense now as they make their way onto the field. And from this spot in the field with the clock where it's at, you think we're just going to see a knee and that's it?
And I think in this situation, that's the proper play. But we do know there's some risk takers out there that may want to take one more.
And that's caught inside the 30. So we've reached halftime with just the lone touchdown here. 7-0 is our score. As we will send you back stateside to Orlando and say hello to Larry Ridley. He's got our EA Sports halftime report. Larry? Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. Now the return, Rashad Green. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. Out come the Jaguars now as he'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They come out here with a 0 on the scoreboard. What was said in that locker room? That's what I want to know.
I would love to have been in there because we often have the feeling that there's a lot of shouting, screaming, people upset. But typically, halftime locker rooms are a lot more clinical than that. And in this case, are they upset that the plays weren't working because of execution, or did they think they were just bad plays to call?
Yeah.
We'll find out pretty quickly here if they feel like they had something going, but they just need to do it a little bit better or not.
We'll find out. On second down, here's Bortles. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
We know it's not an easy job to go out and catch passes when people are trying to tackle you and knock the ball away. But the bottom line is, that's a pass he's got to have and a pass he should have caught.
Third down, still 14 yards left. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. From the gun on third down, Bortles. He's got his man here. It's Green. That one goes for 24 yards.
Well, the advantage has certainly shifted to the defense as we began that third down play, and they found a way to foil it and pick up a first down.
Third time's a charm, right? 2 incompletions. Had to have it on third, and they got it.
Yeah, they stuck with it, weren't daunted at all, and picked it up.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
Carry number 10 now for Ivory. Call it a gain of 3, but not enough to move the sticks. It'll be third and about a foot or 2.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
And he's got the first down yardage before being taken down at midfield. Just a gain of a couple, but good enough to keep the drive rolling. So the run gets them the first, and now they operate with a fresh set of downs. They'll run with Ivory. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. He's fumbled already once, Charles. I'm not going to say that that was in his mind there, but I'm sure that during some of these plays he is mindful of it.
And once you fumble the ball, you know what your team tells you and your coaching staff? Take care of it rest of the game. And it does get in your mind a little bit, and sometimes that slows down your effort in trying to get free from tacklers.
And the defenders know it too. They sniff that out, don't they? Everybody
wants to swarm the football. You know what the rule is. First guy hold up the runner. Everyone else try and get there and strip the ball free.
From midfield, here's Bortles. Over the middle, open is Thomas. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 17 yards on the pickup there, and the drive will continue. And that's one of his advantages of a passer, is not with his height, setting back there in the pocket, firing over the middle. He can really see everything clearly.
It is, and I know that other quarterbacks get it done different ways, all right? You don't have to be his height to make a great play. But what he does is he takes away having to make those slide steps in the pocket to find angles to throw the ball through. He just throws right over the top of it because he can see everything, and sometimes that saves time and gets the ball to a receiver quicker. Tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. So 2nd and 9, the defense looking to put them in a bad spot here. Bortles to throw on 2nd down. And he fires one that's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. A look at the offense now here, coming back out on the road for their first possession of the second half. After the interception, it's Love. On the right side, it's Hilton with a catch. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
On second down, here's Love. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. A pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides, where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
Defense looking to hold serve one last time here on 3rd and 7. Throwing on 3rd down, Luck. And able to find Dorsett. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing, playing against a good quarterback like he is, to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
Decent chunk of yardage still left here, 2nd and 7. The throw on 2nd down is Love. Over the middle here, it's Hilton. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. It's an 8-yard pickup and leads to a new set of downs.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Now the offense lining up 1st and 10. They'll give it to him right up the gut. Might have gotten this one down to the 28, and that's all. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
Now a play fake, and it's Locke. Over to the right side, caught by Moncrief. They give him 17 yards that time, as that'll move the chains. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Here's Luck now on second down. And he's got his target. It's caught for a Colts touchdown. Their big tight end, his second touchdown on the season. And the Colts add on to their lead. They had to go to the monitor, get an extra look. That's what the technology is for. And this touchdown will count. And it's good to make it 14-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Pat McAfee to kick. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. And the interception last time on the opponent's side of the field, certainly not what they wanted.
Put it mildly, that is so frustrating.
And now here's a timeout called by the Colts on the defensive side of the ball. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the fourth quarter. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Completes it to Lee. It's a gain of 14 there, and it'll give the Jags a first down.
In recent years, the slot receivers really gained stature in the NFL because they can do so many things. Yes, they can line up wide like your normal wide receiver, but to have that kind of courage and toughness to run routes in the middle of the field and become dependable targets for their quarterbacks and move the sticks, those guys are worth their weight in gold.
So the offense has it 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, here's Bortles. Lee's got it over the middle. Touchdown, Jaguars! Marquise Lee, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Jaguars have cut it back within a score. And that was just a fly route. There was no stop. He just went.
Yeah, and it was beautiful to watch because you have to set it up as you go along. Everyone knows he's fast, so you play him for that. That's the #1 thing you want to take away. But as you go through a game, sometimes you vary the speed in which you come off the line of scrimmage and maybe start a little bit slower, get him to stop his feet a little bit as a defensive back, and then explode and go, as we saw there.
And, it's no good on the PAT, so they can't add on here. And our score is going to stay right where it is. And this is going to be taken in by the Colts. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2. And in this situation with the lead fourth quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
They'll give it to him right up the gut. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. And this defense continues to give them fits. They just can't get really anything going on the ground, can they?
I love the theme that you just brought up. This defense has been tough all game long against the run. We just saw another example of it there.
Third and 2, Luck. Oh, incomplete. Nearly the pick they needed. They would have loved one there, but at least it does get them to fourth down.
Pretty nice coverage there, but a missed opportunity for an interception. Let's face it, a lot of these defenders, they've got it all. Speed, athleticism, hands, a little bit questionable.
And he's going to miss this one. That is no good. Well outside the left upright, and this score will stay right where it is.
I tell you, it's not easy kicking field goals in the best of conditions. You add in a downpour like we're in right now, it makes it that much harder. And sure enough, they can't convert here.
Bortles now on first down. And his throw is incomplete. The tight end, Julius Thomas, the intended target. And that'll make it 2nd and 10.
The out route's such a timing route that sometimes the guy throwing the ball just throws it almost blindly, just kind of counts on that timing winning. And in this case, the ball was batted away.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's going to take this one up only to about the 44-yard line. Give him 4 on the ground there. They're now left with 3rd and 6.
We always like to talk about defense in terms of levels. First level defensive line, second level linebackers, third level defensive backs. On that run, that was what we call a first level run, and it was stopped by a second level player.
So following the run, we'll see what they do here on 3rd down. Throwing his Bortles on 3rd down. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
It's a tried and true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking the hit, but incomplete. And another timeout taken by the Colts. That's going to leave them with just 1 remaining here in this 4th quarter. One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Now Bortles got to have this one. And Robinson with a big catch. It'll be a gain of 9. And on 4th down, they're able to convert and move the sticks. And now they're in the hurry-up. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle, that's what we saw right there.
Yeah, that's what their job is, and really a lot of the time they have to throttle back a little bit.
And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by a former first-round pick, Patrick Robinson. And his crew will take over with a football at the 35-yard line. And now Indianapolis set to take the field. Last time out, they had that long 50-plus yard field goal that they missed.
And I'm sure on their sideline they're thinking to themselves, okay, do we still want to try one if we're in that position again? And I would dare say that
And now the Jags defense deciding to call a timeout. A gain of 3, 2nd down. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the 4th quarter. And the defense in desperate need of a stop. They have to get off the field and get the ball back to their offense if they want a chance. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. Now Luck. He's going to let this one go deep. And he almost had it defensively. Could have been a game changer there in this second half. Instead, it's 3rd down. So they're leading. They have possession of the football, and certainly this is where they just want to milk the clock. Throwing on third down, Luck. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off here by Aaron Colvin. And his guys are going to take over at their own 48-yard line. And now out come the Jags. And 3 interceptions in this game. I would have to think, I wasn't a quarterback, but number 4 is kind of, you're like, oh, man, I can't throw 4.
No, what's interesting is, what do the coaches decide to do now? Having thrown 3, do you alter your offensive strategy? Do you take the ball out of his hands and maybe turn to the running game? Or do you have that supreme confidence that he's going to turn things around?
We'll see what they do. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And he's going to be out of bounds, but able to take it inside the 40-yard line.
When you run a screen pass really well, you got to like the look of it because so many parts come together to make it work well. The offensive linemen, where they're faking people out, the back slipping out there, catching the football, then all of them going together as one unit downfield. A really nice pickup.
Throwing on first down is Bortles. Looking left side and completing it to Thomas. 18 yards on the pickup there. And that'll be good for a Jacksonville first down.
Obviously, this has not been a banner game throwing the football. So what you got to do, you got to kind of down focus, don't you think? Find the tight end, take some easier completions.
Yeah, interception last drive. There he hits the reliable target. Time starting to run out here in the 4th. This defense just trying to keep the offense off the board and preserve this potential victory. To throw, it's Bortles. Completes it to Lee. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. The slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
He can muster only a yard there, and they'll be left with a 3rd and very short. And now it looks like they're going to be in the hurry-up. They run with their short yardage man, Ivory. And he will get this into the end zone for a Jaguar touchdown. Chris Ivory, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Jaguars move back within a couple of the lead. Now we're going to get a timeout here, and I believe it was called by the defense. And if that's indeed the case, they'll be out of timeouts for the remainder of this second half. Here we go now as we get set for a big 2-point conversion. Bortles is going to throw for it, and they don't get it. They tried for the 2-point conversion there, but unsuccessful. Here's the Jaguar kick team now as they run up and send this one away. This is taken at the 3. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. Really nice starting field position here for the offensive unit. Shift together here from the D-line. Now they'll run it on the toss. And now the Jags going to signal for another timeout. That'll be their 2nd, so one more chance to stop the clock here. And we'll be back. And they'll go on the ground. Touchdown, Indianapolis. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Colts are able to grow their lead.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run. And one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock.
Now after the touchdown, here's Pat McAfee to kick. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Out comes the Jaguar offense now as they get set to take over. Last time they were out, they scored. Still trailing here, though, so some work to do.
But it's okay in terms of mindset. Because they scored the last time, they're not quite as worried about being down on the scoreboard because now their confidence is a little bit higher. They feel like they got something going, and they feel like they can attack again and put more points on the board.
Are you scoreboard watching if you're the offense, or are you just focused on this drive?
We wouldn't be telling the truth if we said that they didn't scoreboard watch. Everyone does it to some extent. But you've got to set it aside right now and just focus on this series. That'll take care of the scoreboard if they punch it into the end zone. Looked like they had an opportunity for a big play across the middle, but he didn't have the concentration or the focus necessary and dropped it before he could haul it in.
Now Bortles. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
Everything about that play tells you about today's NFL offenses and what they're asking out of running backs. You can't just be a guy who can run the football. You have to be able to catch it as well, and he didn't get that done on that play.
So still a full 10 yards to go here for the offense on third down. Bortles to throw. On the right side, caught by Green. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on fourth down. They're going for it. Now Bortles, got to have this one. To the right side here, the tight end Thomas. A gain of 4 on the play, and they're able to pick up the conversion here on fourth down.
We always talk about big-time players make big-time plays in big-time moments. I think that fourth down qualified. That was a heck of a throw.
Obviously a tough spot here. They need a lot of luck to win this game, but still a small chance.
They got to make sure they get the ball to the sidelines, get out of bounds, preserve clock.
This one caught by Lee. And he takes this one all the way across midfield into enemy territory down to the 40-yard line. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
Back to throw, Bortles. Toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete. Allen Robinson, the intended receiver. And it'll be 2nd and 10. Yards still left on 2nd down. To throw is Bortles. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. Now play number 7 of the drive as they're looking at a 3rd and 10. They come out 5 wide, 3 of them to the right side. Now Bortles. And he finds Julius Thomas. And he's brought down after a good gain. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. Into the red zone, it's Bortles. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
Well, we're not playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust football anymore. I kind of get why those old school coaches sometimes didn't want to throw the football. Because if it's popped up in the air, it almost turns into slow motion, and both sides trying to get to the football, and you're holding your breath wondering whether it's going to go good or bad for your team.
And caught right side, Green. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Give him 3 on the play, and that'll lead here to a 3rd down. And they're going to hurry back to the line now. One final try now for Bortles. Escaping the pressure right. This will be caught just inside the 10. And now a little bit of a losing skid here. Only 2 games, but still 2 straight losses. How do they rebound?
Well, able to shake off the first one. Most people say, okay, sometimes we're going to drop one. But then you get to the second one. Now it's imperative that they get together and find a way to stop it. You start getting into 3-game losing streaks, all sorts of bad things begin to happen.
So for the Colts, they're on a nice early roll as they move to 3-1 with a win here. And now it's off to Heathrow as they get set to fly back to the U.S. in a couple hours. Meanwhile, for Jacksonville, they'll fall back to 500 at 2.
Draw. Hard to admit that I used to draw. Portraiture in a human form. Doodle of a 2-headed unicorn. It was soothing. Moving his arm in a fusion of man-made tools and amused from beyond. Even if it went beautifully wrong, it was tangible truth for a youth to refuse to belong. No name nuisance. Who's in a bedroom? Who's in a brand new cuneiform? Barely commune with the horde. Got a whole grayscale ungluing his world. Might zone amp to the yap of the magpie. Unseen hand dragging his graphite. Cross contour, a little bit of backlight. Black ink after a Bristol to baptize. You can imagine a rush that ensue when you get 3 dimensions stuffed in a 2. Then it's off to a school where it's all you get to. Being trained and observed by a capable few. Back in New York by peeps and a dog in a 2-bedroom doing menial jobs. Plus rhyming and stealing and being a clod. Distractions, freedom, a rod. I left some years of giving a light. I left some will the spirit away. I let my fears materialize. I let my skills deteriorate. When about I thought of what I should have been. Continuing a mission that was rooted in a 20-year affinity and rickety condition with an ID crisis. Snap on the front lawn, look up in the sky. It's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. And now we're colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Used to paint. Hard to admit that I used to paint. Natural light on a human face. Stenciled fire in his roommate's face. It was bloom and addiction. A miss and a push and a pigment. Book like a tattooed pigskin. Look, pinhead kids in a minute. Drank Kool-Aid from a tube of acrylic. And I grew up in a linseed oil or a linen. Joy to the poison, voice to the resin. Capture a map of a gesture. Back up, add a little accurate fat to the figure. Redo that, move that inward. Zinc white lightning shoots from his fingers. Studio strewn with illusion and tinctures. Stay tuned for the spooky adventures. You can imagine the stars that align when a forearm starts foreshortening right. Or a torso hung on a warping spine in proportion. Reads as warm and alive. Routine day with a dirt cheap brush. Then a week goes by and it goes untouched. Then 2, then 3, then a month. And the rest of your life to beat yourself up. I left some seasons eager to fall. I left some work to bury your life. I let my means of being dissolve. I let my person curl up and die. Eating up his innards and unfeasible anxiety is brutally committed to relinquishing his privacy, aligning with the trials of the anti-Midas. Snap on the back lawn, look up in the sky. It's shapes falling out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. And now we're colors pouring out of the fringe. All heart though we would have made cowardly kings. They will chop you down just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Just to count your rings. Came up